Good guys, my name is Lil Tomo. Welcome again to another Sonic the Hedgehog toy item collect review. As you know, I'm Lil Tomo with the good old blues here. Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, I'm not going to quit my day job anytime soon because my singing is horrendous. Let's get to the actual review. This is Charmy the Bee by Great Eastern Entertainment plush. And quick review in the beginning. Phenomenal. Obviously, I'm going to go into better detail because this plush has a lot of intricate details that is definitely needs to be mentioned, and it is definitely a remarkable plush to have in your collection if you're a hectic Sonic the Hedgehog plush collector or just a Sonic the Hedgehog collector as is. But of course, for those who may or may not know, Charmy the Bee first was more or less shown to the public in Knuckles Chaotic on the Sega, on the 32X, which is his first cameo of sorts. He has made cameos and he's playable in other games such as Sonic Heroes, but his first appearance was, of course, Knuckles Chaotic. Not a big fan of that game, but it is what it is. So let's get into the actual detail. Straight off the bat, you have his head sculpt, which is already extremely well puffed out and pretty much well stuffed, which is always a plus, because especially if you purchase plushies, you don't want it to be manky looking, you don't want him to be flimsy, you want him to have well proportioned out throughout his whole body, which is extremely crucial if you're a collector of plushies in general. That's what I look for anyway. So you see that extremely well stuffed, phenomenal. Of course, you have this embroidering effect or this extrusion or this puffy effect, depending on what you want to call it. I'm just going to call it embroidery effect, where it's just literally material. It's no stuffing, it's just a material that's flipped over, and it gives it more of a 3D symmetrical look opposed to just being flat on his actual face. So it goes around the back of his helmet all the way across and all the way across his actual face itself. Now, depending on who you talk to, some people say that's part of his head, others say that's his helmet. I'll probably argue that's more his helmet than anything else, so you can take it off and put it back on. I think it makes more sense. I like that. Phenomenal. I love that effect. It really gives him more character, and it is, of course, part of the actual design itself. Great. Then you have his actual eyes. Now, what's the best way to explain it? Great Eastern Entertainment is notorious for basically, not notoriously in a bad way, but notorious for basically doing kind of these iron press sticker methods, as in, for example, various marks like that mark over there, but especially in his ears, and of course you have it on his mouth, where they press in, which I like to think that's what it is. I could be wrong. I'm sure the technique's called something else, but I'm going to call it an iron press, where they put the material onto his actual eyes and they just iron press it so it basically stays on like that, very sturdy. Very great. It's also on his smile there, which is adorable. You can see it's kind of like a semi-smirk, which is adorable. Now, the effect itself is phenomenal. The eyes itself are vibrant, very colorful, and it actually adds character to the plush itself. Of course, if you're the sort of person who constantly plays around or messes around with their plushes, I will probably put that concern or that warning, if anything, that it may basically rub off eventually over the time. None of mine have done it yet, but purely because I have it on display purposes. But if you're the sort of person that tends to mess around, play around, and wash this continuously, it may happen down the track. That's my feeling. I could be wrong. It could be the most dirtiest thing in the face of the earth. I don't know, but I just get that vibe from it. So yeah, of course you do have his little muzzle. You have his big fat little nose, which is extremely well stuffed and hard, which is a bonus. And that looks so adorable. So if you look at him from the start, you can see how happy he looks. I think he looks absolutely adorable. I think his eyes are spaced a little too wide. Like, that's, maybe it's just me, but I think that's what the case is. But anyway, of course you have kind of his binoculars headset, but I'll probably call it just binoculars. So that's one pivot point, which of course you do have that same effect that happened on his eyes, kind of iron press cylindrical thing. I think it's more of a cost saving measure than anything else, which is still good. So it gives it 2 shades of grays. It's on exactly the same on the other side, and if you make it all the way to the top, this is just the level of attention to detail it has. So they could purely just have a cylindrical kind of what do you call it, these goggles, straps of sorts, but they went that extra mile and added, I'll just show you, these little black bits around it. They absolutely did not need that whatsoever, but the fact that they did major bonus. It's just that level of greatness and attention to details that I absolutely love. And of course you have kind of this translucent blue markings, which is pretty much glued on. You can tell that it's glued on either side of the goggles, which kind of gives it a reflective, as you can probably tell from the actual camera, it kind of gives it a reflective aspect to it, which I think is great, especially if you have it hanging up. Of course you have his little hanger thingy. I'm gonna call it the hanger thingy because that's my thing now. It's a hanger thingy, but basically it's pivoted through his head, and you can literally just hang it if you so desire, which is pretty much what I'm going to be doing it. It looks great from a display purpose, and I'm going to hang it. The only thing I would have preferred, and this is just me being picky now, it doesn't take anything away from it, I like the fact that they've added this, is I would have preferred it to go through the actual strap of the goggles, not his actual head, because it looks like he's being shot in the head and hanging as a trophy. And I like to believe my Sonic characters aren't dead when I get them. You know, it suspends my disbelief. But it is what it is, and I think it's pretty, like I said, these small, it's not needed, but the fact that they did it really encapsulate their understanding on how various people may want to display their plushies, and I think this is a phenomenal little add to it. Absolutely great. Of course you have his little antennas, which is kind of more or less bee-like, that's why he's called Charmy the Bee. And you have his different colors, which is yellow and black, and they're exactly the same on either side. Once again, attention to detail, they didn't need to do this, but this is not iron pressed. This is an actual cylindrical material placed on top of the rings, on the bottom half of the ring of his antenna, and basically hard glued on. And you can see small marks around it. You won't see it as much on the cam, but you can see if you look at it. You know, it doesn't take anything away. It's part of the design, it's part of the craftsmanship, and it's a bonus, but it's absolutely phenomenal. Head sculpt, ace, you can't go wrong with there. Further down you have, of course, both his arms. His arms are exactly the same on, no, they're not exactly the same, what am I saying? As you can see, when you put a gun to his head and he's putting his hands up saying, please don't shoot. You have one where his thumbs are out and you have one where his thumbs are inside. They did not need to do this, but they did it just to give you a level of variation in the plush designs themselves. Absolutely awesome, that the fact that they even did it. And of course the fingers are divided by literally just a not sewing material, but kind of like a sewing effect, just give it the illusion of fingers, which is, it is what it is, no issue there, it makes sense, it is a plush, so don't go too hardcore on it. Of course you have his little cufflets, if you want to call them, of his actual hand gloves, which are literally kind of like dark rings around it, and that's exactly the same on both sides. Adds a level of character to it, which is awesome. I love it. And of course you have his, you know, you can't see it as much, but it's kind of like this light skin tone color on his arms. And of course in his shirt you have kind of his shorter sleeves, which is awesome, so which is great, so you can know that his natural color is this color and the rest is just his costume, which is awesome. Being that he is a bee, for whatever reason they decide to give him a shirt. That's not great. It's the entertainment's choice, it's the design of the character itself, and he looks so cute on, I'm not even gonna lie, it looks adorable. It's a predominantly orange vest with a little yellow zipper line, and of course if you look closely, you have of course his not neck collar, but like the shirt's collar, which is basically white, which makes it all the way around his actual neck. And you have of course his little zipper. You can't unzip the shirt, it's just more or less aesthetics design, but it's so cute that you even have that. Oh my god, you can't go wrong with that. So adorable. And of course, just to throw in that he's a bee, you have a picture of a bee without wings on his shirt, because why not? Because why not just throw the extra level of cuteness into this plush already? And the fact that a grown man like myself is even using the word cute says a lot more about this plush being great than it says about me and my level of masculinity, which we shall not discuss. And of course you have a level of embodiments, basically markings, which is basically just sewing material around his actual shirt. Now you can't take the shirt off, which is okay. Why would you want to strip your plush anyway naked, unless you're into that? But that's none of my business. And it just gives him more of an effect of a shirt than anything else. You have his main body, which is of course mostly yellow and black. Of course he is a bee, and if you flip it around you have his pointy little stinger at the bottom. Now I don't know if he's those traditional bees where if you get stung and tries to fly off, the sting stays on the person that he stung and he eventually flies off and dies. For those of my younger viewers that don't know about bee anatomy, that tends to happen with bees. I'm not saying this is going to happen to Charmy the bee, but it makes sense. Now, they introduced something that I've never seen in a Sonic plush before. They use translucent blue plastic, other than the fact on the top, for his wings. And you know what? Blown away. When I first picked this up, I was a bit, what's this? I thought it was kind of like an error, but no, it's actually his wings. And he's so good. I'm blown away by this feature alone. Everything else is just superb. This one just sold me simply because it's unique. I've always craved about uniqueness when it comes to merchandising, figurines, and just general plush. There are major reasons why I've never really picked up on plushes is because I always thought that they were the same, blah blah blah. We all know the story behind that. If you don't know, now you know. That's why I never really picked up plushes. But the fact that when Great East Entertainment went out of the way to actually create Sonic merchandising and various characters, I was thrown away. Not simply because of the craftsmanship, but the level of attention to detail and also the uniqueness in their choice design. And this is no exception. Absolutely great. It is literally hard plastic for his wings, and it adds so much character to his actual overall design. I think it does. Like, if you were to put material, it wouldn't do it as much justice. It does work for Rogue the Bat. If you ever check the review, check it out. But this one in particular, such a great choice design, which I thought it was awesome. So on the actual side, you have a massive, I don't know why you would, but it is what it is, a massive tag. It's pretty big. It says production date. It tells you what production date it is from this year, 2016. I've never really noticed this on any other plush. I'm guessing this is a new thing. And of course on the side you have this massive hanging, tag which literally says Sonic the Hedgehog plush. I would have preferred they had a picture of Charmy the Bee instead of Sonic. I understand why they have Sonic, just to say, hey, look, it's part of the universe. But I'm figuring most people that tend to pick up a plush would even think they'll pick it up because it's cute, or they'll pick it up because they know about Sonic. So it doesn't really matter if they have a picture of Sonic. They would have preferred it to be Charmy, but that's just me anyway. On the actual back, it just has Sonic the Hedgehog, and he has obligatory information. I'm not going to read it because it's not boring. And let's go to his actual feet. His feet are exactly the same on both sides, so I'm just going to focus on one foot. So you have his legs, which is predominantly black. You have a black embroidered kind of like shoe neck, that's what I'm probably going to call it, which is black. And of course you have his shoes, which is predominantly just grey and orange, and which has an pretty much iron pressed sticker for his actual shoe length belt, which kind of acts as a like an embroidering effect, which is absolutely awesome. And of course you have a little design there that's basically meant to say that he's zipper. Now you would think that's all you ever need, like this plush is as perfect you can get, right? No, they went that extra mile. Look at that. How unique is that? Come on. For a lot of people like myself, if you choose to sit him down, you're going to see the sole of the actual shoe. And the fact that they even made a design for it absolutely blew me away. Look at it. Like they could have just made it one color, but no, they chose two. They did pretty much, it's an array. This in itself is phenomenal. So you have white and grey checkered sole for the shoes, plus a cylindrical little markings there, which I'm guessing is for his toes to add more grip. And at the very bottom you have more grip marks at the bottom. Absolutely not needed, but they did it because Great Eastern Entertainment. If you guys ever watch if Great Eastern Entertainment, the company, ever watches my reviews, just let me say I absolutely love the work you do. I really do. I don't even get endorsed. All this stuff that I review is purchased out of my pocket, and I'm happy to support them for that. Not even wanting freebies from them. I truly do support the absolute greatness that is this plush. There is so much right with this plush that even the small minute flaws that I think are more nitpicking than actual flaws, such as this and having the picture of Sonic instead of Charmy the Bee, is overshadowed by how awesome this plush is. Now if you're a collector, you're obviously going to leave the tag. It's going to be bothersome. I'm sure you can throw it at the back and be less intrusive, or if you choose to hang it, you can clearly see the hash. So from a collector's point of view, it's a bit bothersome that it's as big as it is. But if you're just a regular collector and wants to mess around, do role plays, play around with your plushie, which isn't bad itself, everybody has their ins and outs of what they like, then you can just rip that off, and this will be as 100% perfect to you as perfect can be. Like myself, is that as perfect as it can be? I think it is. It's just the criticism that I do have, such as this and the thing up there, it's purely nitpicking. It's me just being a pretentious little I'm not even going to swear, but a pretentious little nitpicker, to say the least. But yeah, how much did I get it for? I think I got it for about $15. I purchased various other items when I got this. Is it worth it? Yes, definitely. There has never really been, unless you really argue jazz with a company, there's rarely any merchandising other than Sonic, Knuckles and Tails. And the fact is, to pick up anything that's anything else but the main canon characters in merchandising, may they be figurines or plush forms, is always a bonus. And plus, if you have a display with all your Great Eastern Entertainment plushies, you can't go wrong. You truly cannot go wrong. It just blows you away. And I love the work these guys do, and I really hope they go into making other characters, more so the villains, because I'm super into the villains. I'm a bit psychotic that way. Now, where can you purchase it? I purchased this on eBay, no surprises there. I have seen this in Amazon. I'm not too sure about retailers. In Australia, you don't have these sort of stuff in retailers, not that I could see anyway. So in the US or the UK, maybe there's retailers that stock this. I don't know. I know they stock the Sonic Boom stuff, which is great. I really love that stuff. But from these sort of, I'll probably say mid to high tier quality plushes, I've never really seen them. So leave comments below if you have seen them. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? So final verdict, definitely a must pick it up. It's absolutely adorable, absolutely cute. It will work well with your actual other Sonic plushes, and is up from rarity 1 star out of 10. It is common. You can definitely buy this anywhere. Most times will be super rare in the future. Who knows? You never know. Maybe not. But yeah, stores of course, Amazon, eBay, and maybe independent stores who may stock them. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But it is a must. I think you guys should pick up Charmy the Bee, because he is, wait for it, very charming. I'm so lame. Anyway guys, thank you so much for checking out my review. Till next time, speed on, take care, and peace.